Hello and welcome to this India Today special roundtable. The battle for Bihar is done and dusted, and literally so. The BJP, JDU, LJP, NDA alliance has scored a thumping victory. The opposition has been decimated. It fits in with a pattern since the general elections of 2024 that have shown the BJP once again on the ascendant, gathering momentum state by state. Haryana, Maharashtra, Delhi, and now Bihar. And remember, in 2026, there are 4 big states in the first half of the year: West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Assam. Prime Minister Modi has already sounded the bugle for those elections, saying the BJP is going to move into these states. For the opposition, therefore, this is a major challenge. Today, on the Editors' Roundtable, we're going to look at the big national picture. What does that battle for Bihar victory for the NDA now mean for national politics? And we'll raise those big questions with several special guests. Joining me now, Raj Chengappa, Editorial Director, Publishing, India Today Group; Ashutosh, Editor, Satya Hindi; Nirja Choudhury, author and senior journalist and columnist; and also joining me, senior journalist and columnist and a former BJP MP is Swapan Dasgupta, who's also contested from Bengal for the BJP. Appreciate all of you joining me here on this special round table. I want to go one by one through the questions, but before I go to the questions, I want to explain to you the map of India, and it's important to see where we stand. Just take a look at this map. At the moment, states and UTs ruled by the parties, the BJP and NDA, are ruling as much as 21 states in the country. It almost seems as if the entire country has now turned saffron, with the BJP dominant in a majority of the states. The India Alliance, the opposition alliance, is ruling in 8, of which the Congress is ruling only in 3 of them: Himachal, Telangana, and Karnataka on its own. And then there are others like Mizoram and Punjab. But broadly speaking, it is saffron all the way. Which brings me to the first big question we are going to pose on the Editors' Roundtable. Is the BJP-Modi-Shah election machine now simply unstoppable? That's the question I want to pose at the start of the show, and I want to take that straight to you, Swapan Dasgupta. Do you believe that the BJP has fully recovered from the seeming setback of 2024 when 400 par ended up only at 240?
Well, I think what's very clear is that some of the major lessons from the 2024 election have been learned as to why you didn't quite achieve the target you set out to do. And I think all along, whether it's Haryana, whether it's Maharashtra, or now in Bihar, what we are seeing is that the BJP is trying in a very intelligent way to cover up for whatever the deficit in electoral terms they had. And that's important. I wouldn't say the word is unstoppable. That's it's like saying something is inevitable. What I would use the word, it's become a formidable, well-oiled electoral machinery, which devotes itself single-mindedly to the task of winning elections, but not in the way some people might interpret it as saying winning elections, therefore you break the rules. No, I think by and large what has happened is that, as we saw in Bihar, here we saw ability to get Chirag Paswan into the fold, ability to rope in a lot of the old independent votes, etc. And therefore you get that incremental surge. And it's that intelligent. And also, how do you calibrate your messaging to suit the electorate? That's very important. So there's no one-size-fits-all electoral strategy, which the BJP has. And I think that's very important. In a very diverse place like India, you're likely to have different electoral strategies. Although they may be there's obviously a convergence in a lot of ways. But for example, in Bihar, what we saw is that the coalition factor was a very important thing. In Bihar, also, what we noticed, which was significant, that Bihar being a very poor state, the welfarist aspects were played in. Aspirations were merged in to the degree of welfarism which was promised. Now, if we, and I'm extrapolating from there, now if we were to move on to Bengal, you'd find a slightly different strategy. If you're going into Kerala or Tamil Nadu, where the BJP is not really a contender for power, it's really trying to get onto to the map of these states. There again, a different form of strategy. So I think what is really being what is being practiced after 2024 is one, a certain degree of determination. In 2024, I think the BJP was also guilty of a little bit of smug overconfidence, and I think that has really now gone out of the window. And I think the idea is that every election is a battle. It's there to be won, and it's got to be there to be won by playing along. If I might use an analogy which I heard Mamta Banerjee using, is that you will read that each pitch is different, and therefore each state has its own strategy.
Interesting way to put it, Swapan Dasgupta. Ashutosh, among the words that caught my attention was flexibility. According to Swapan Dasgupta, the BJP in 2024 Lok Sabha may have been guilty of some element of smugness, of complacency. Now they've realized they are in battles, they are changing their strategy to fit the pitch. They are totally flexible. Whether it's Haryana, Maharashtra, and Bihar, they've been flexible. Do you see a change in strategy, and therefore the BJP election machine is back in action? Swapan Dasgupta is saying they are playing within the rules. They're not breaking the rules, as the opposition is alleging. Your response?
Rajdeep, with lot of industrial effort, a mythical image of the Prime Minister was built and cultivated, that he's unstoppable, he's invincible. But if you look at in the last almost 2 years, that mythical image had been shattered. Firstly, in 2024 election, when the BJP was propagating and saying everything that the BJP will get more than 350 seats, more than 400 seats, and suddenly you realize that the BJP is very, very vulnerable and could not get more than 240 seats. I think that was the biggest setback which Mr. Prime Minister has ever got, because since he became the Gujarat Chief Minister, he had never faced something like this. So that mythical image was shattered then. And then after Pulwama, the way the whole world has reacted, the way his ceasefire tactics was criticized even by the right-wingers within
After Pahalgam. After Pahalgam.
After Pahalgam. And then the way the Prime Minister found himself totally isolated at the global platform. And above all, the way his dear friend Mr. Donald Trump was trying to embarrass him every now and then. So these are the two events which has really shattered and tarnished his mythical image of Narendra Modi, bigger than any Prime Minister this country ever had. Now, what this Bihar election
No, but the
has
fact
done,
is, the election machine. But Ashutosh, I'm focusing on election machine. Haryana, most people expected them to lose. They won. Maharashtra, the BJP itself won 90% of the seats. They got Delhi back from Arvind Kejriwal after 10 years, and now they win again more than 90% of the seats. So the machine, the election machine is back.
See, Rajdeep, I was coming to Bihar. What Bihar has done, and the massive victory which NDA has got, has brought back Mr. Narendra Modi's old mojo. Now he's back to his original arrogant self. His speech yesterday was a classic example, the way he was trying to target Congress. Now the issue is, this time the electoral machine is working, there's no doubt about it. But with a caveat. And the caveat is vote chori. That was never said earlier. The before 2024 parliament elections, electoral machine was all about the management, the micromanagement, and everything done. But now there are the serious question mark in a large section of the population, and they believe the election could be rigged. I have no information, so I am not vouching for that. But that suspicion is there. So yes, election machine is working with such greater efficacy that in Haryana, where nobody thought the BJP could win, they won the elections. In Maharashtra, when everybody thought the BJP will get a beating, they got more than 2/3 seats. Unimaginable success rate there. And now the similar thing in Bihar, when every journalist was talking about the exit polls, pollster were saying कि कांटे की टक्कर है, जबरदस्त लड़ाई है, एनडीए को edge है, but getting more than 200 seats. So is it because of the electoral machine? Is it because of the new beast which the BJP has invented in itself, or is it because of something else?
Okay, you're again and again raising the issue of possible malpractices. Now, I want to say this upfront. I was among those who said the BJP or the NDA was well ahead in Bihar. I'm not surprised by Bihar at all. Maybe the margin of winning over 200 seats will surprise, but I anticipated 160 plus. It was very clear in the field that the NDA was well ahead. But Nirja Choudhury, you've heard two different viewpoints already. You've had Ashutosh saying that there are question marks over the credibility of the election process, that Mr. Modi's larger-than-life image has been dented since 2024, even though he may be winning elections. And you've got Swapan Dasgupta who's saying that the BJP has got its mojo back. Where does the truth lie according to you? Is it somewhere between these two extremes? Or is it very clear that the BJP is India's party number one, Mr. Modi, Neta number one?
Well, there is little doubt about that, Rajdeep, as we sit here and talk on November 15th. Yes, Narendra Modi is leader number one. BJP is, as you said, the NDA is in power in 21 states of India. So there is no doubting about that. As far as 2024, it gave a window of opportunity to the opposition for reasons that had much to do with the internal tussle within the BJP, particularly in Uttar Pradesh, with Yogi Adityanath, with the RSS, and with the Dalits pulling back, which helped the opposition parties. Yes, they were down to 240 Lok Sabha seats, but they were very quick to learn the lessons, as Swapan said, and they are very quick always to course correct. Now that is something that the opposition parties and the India bloc of parties has not done. They have not learned the lessons from Haryana. They've not learned the lessons from Maharashtra. They've not learned the lessons from Delhi. I don't know whether they'll learn the lessons from Bihar, which I agree with you. Many people who went to the ground and heard voices about the election being about Nitish Kumar this time. It was like, sympathy, it was appreciation, it was the word used many times to me by people was Shraddha for what he'd done for Bihar, and now that he was ailing and he was getting on. So they were appreciative. So it's not surprising that Nitish Kumar became the generic word for the NDA. I heard, Dalit women say we are voting Nitish, even though the NDA candidate in their area was from the LJP Ramvilas party, Chirag Paswan's party. So he became a generic word this time. But yes, the scale of the victory, that has surprised, you're right, many people. But others say, does it have to do with the 10% surge in the voters, the 9% women voters, the difference between the male and the female this time, the female voters being 9% more, and women voters were a very convinced lot this time in Bihar. They were rooting for Nitish Kumar for the 10,000, the 10,000 rupees. 1.5 crore of them, remember, had got in their bank accounts. And these are Jivika Didis. Jivika Didis are trained to be motivators of others. So they would have motivated many more people. So there was all this happening. Is it because of that? or is it, as Ashutosh says, yes, I've heard many voices also, people saying, could this really happen? Was this really fixed? It has created doubts in the minds of some people. So I think we will have to, I hope the Election Commission will go into this and clarify, because we cannot have a question mark against our elections. Our democracy is too precious for that to really happen. But I would say overall, yes, the state of the ruling alliance, which is good, and the state of the opposition, which is not very good. That's also a fact of life today.
I think what is very clear is Bihar in many ways was, we can call it the Nemo victory, Nitish Kumar and Narendra Modi almost working as a double engine. But in Bihar, in a state elections, this was certainly in many ways Nitish's election, particularly when contrasted with the opposition. So should we read this election victory on the back of Maharashtra, Haryana and Delhi, Raj Chengappa, to suggest that the BJP election machine is back? Or is it, as Swapan Dasgupta put it, that the BJP has now realized we will play on different pitches differently? In Bihar, we will play on the Nitish Kumar pitch. In Maharashtra, we will take an Eknath Shinde along with us. In Haryana, we will ensure that we consolidate possibly our caste vote bank there. In Delhi, you will play on a more urban pitch and target Arvind Kejriwal. Or is it the BJP's ability to, as its critics say, Sam, Dam, Danda, Bhed, do whatever it takes to win an election? What Swapan says is flexibility. Critics will say Sam, Dam, Danda, Bhed.
Rajdeep, there's no doubt it's a highly creditable win for the NDA and an astonishing win in many senses. You were right. You did talk of the NDA having an edge. And to me, I remember you said they are the much ahead also. And one didn't expect this kind of numbers that were there. But let's look, if you analyze and drill down the numbers and you see the percentage of votes, the BJP really hasn't got much more votes than what it had earlier. Fair enough, it is contesting less seats this time, but they're around 20%, which is what they had even last time. Yes. It is Nitish's votes that has moved from 14 to 19%. And if you look at it, they get the combination right this time. The arithmetic, they get it right. Last time, the LJP of Paswan's, Ramvilas Paswan's party, Chirag Paswan leading it, was not part of the NDA at that time. They were part of the NDA, but they fought independently and did not combine in terms of the alliance that they had this time, where they had the seats. Right. So if you see that margin, 5% comes from that. And so, therefore, their overall percentage is pushing past 45%, 46%, whereas the MGB stays at about 38%, which is what they are. And, of course, the RJD moves as remains the single largest party in terms of vote percentage. It doesn't get the seats it got last time. So if you analyze the thought of that, is that the BJP played it correctly in terms of arithmetic, and you like chemistry, which what Nirja was saying, the whole sympathy factor that comes in for Nitish Kumar. Again, surprising for me, because when I covered the Odisha elections, you had a chief minister as popular as Nitish was, had done tremendous amount of work. Naveen Patnaik did, and yet when it came to that, he wasn't getting the kind of numbers that he got. Right. So, I mean, these are interesting sort of comparisons. They need not necessarily hold. The overall message that came through from this. And, a lot of people that went, and you went, and Nirja went, people wanted change. That was the sort of mood that was there. But at the end of it, opted for stability. So the factors that were there, the caste factors, the percentage of votes, and of course, the women played a major role, which saw, Nitish get the kind of boost. The question that you're asking is, can the BJP therefore...
No, but can we...
Yes. I'm just answering that question. You talked of the BJP being unstoppable. Certainly, the ghosts of 2024 have been exercised in that sense, in the sense that they're continuing winning streak that they've had with combinations. And certainly the fact that as a national party, it is gaining ground in each of these states where they earlier played a secondary, not a secondary, they were in Maharashtra also the junior partner for a while. Bihar, they were a junior partner, but they're now emerging as a dominant partner in each of these. There are strides that you said in terms of West Bengal, very important. They've really emerged in the last 5 to 6 years as a formidable force in West Bengal. So the progress of the BJP is really, I mean, it does give you a feeling that it's unstoppable. But let's not forget a couple of things. In the sense that one, a lot of it is just not politics, and it's just not arithmetic. End of the day, we are coming to a crunch time in terms of the economy. We are seeing, a lot of dissonance with the U.S. Our foreign policy is in turmoil. Our economy is what really needs to be focused on, and the next 3-4 months are going to be crucial. So I would say that not only have they to get their strategy right, politically their strategy right, but they'll have to get the economy right if they have to keep this winning streak.
Okay, before I come to the next question, just a quick intervention, Swapan, on that to conclude this part. As Raj Chengappa put it, the BJP seems overly focused, some believe, on winning elections, and governance takes a backseat. And then just before the elections, you announce cash transfers, cash handouts, and I'll come back to that also later. But that there seems to be a governance deficit even while it's got its election act back together again. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't actually agree with that for a thing. Yes, it is true that following the certain unpredictability of Donald Trump, there's been a certain turbulence in our foreign policy, a lot of the equations. But at the same time, we've tried to make alternative arrangements as far as possible. There have been FTAs signed with Britain, with Australia, with various other countries, so you're creating a thing. As far as what matters for the electorate when they approach an election, especially an electorate like Bihar, is the question of Mehengai, which always invariably features very high up on any opinion poll you do. And here we look at it that the inflation rate in India has come down to one of its lowest. So that's, to my mind, some concern, attempt to address popular issues. And secondly, the question why the issue of aspiration really takes place in Bihar. And that's the question of infrastructure. And that's visible. Whether you go tomorrow to Guwahati and you see the complete transformation of that state, and you see Bihar, and then you see why the bridge which was made, which ensured that in Raghupur, the contest was so precariously close. And you'll see that as far as delivery of governance is concerned, the NDA, maybe you could say that, yes, it should have done far more. Maybe who doesn't agree with that? Obviously the sky is the limit. But governance as a whole hasn't suffered. Maybe there are certain areas which probably need a little more thrust. But overall, if you say in the terms of the management of the economy, given the headwinds which India has faced, I think you have to look at it in context. That given those challenges, I think we are not in any way in a crisis. I wouldn't say that we are in a terrific situation. Exporters still, need a lot of encouragement. They are having to grapple with the downturn in the US market for them, etc. There are these issues. But overall, I wouldn't say that there is a feeling in the country that we are drifting, that we've lost our way. I don't think that feeling is there at all.
I think what is very clear is that there's a... No, I take your point that there is a sense that of stability that has certainly been provided. I think whether there has been enough attention paid to governance issues, particularly in Modi 3.0, is still up in the air. But clearly, as you said, an element of stability, physical infrastructure is a major issue, especially it was in Bihar, and it could be also next year in states like Assam, particularly roads and electrification. But